What's good, Oliver?
And we are live on
Oh,
YouTube now as well,
I
brother.
just see that. Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of NBA to the Galaxy podcast, presented to you by DSM Media, as well as your host, myself, Slim. You can follow me on X at Artura30111. You can follow the other host here, Scotty Drown. And as you can see by the title today, NBA potentially expanding to Las Vegas, maybe Seattle. We will be diving in on that. I got Victor Wembanyama came out and made some interesting comments there tonight talking about being in the MVP conversation. I think he's deserving to be in that combo for sure, but we'll dive into that. And yeah, we're going to dive into our top 10 power rankings as well. And yeah, it's going to be a great pod. We're going live on TikTok for those that's tapping in through YouTube or even X. You can follow us on TikTok at NBA to the Galaxy Pod. And for those tapping in on TikTok, you can follow us on YouTube to the Galaxy Pod and on X at to the Galaxy Pod. We appreciate everybody tapping in. Well, before we dive into any of those great topics, my guy Scotty, how you living today, brother? On this Friday Eve. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We are trying new things out here. I'm feeling good about it, though. Happy to be live on TikTok, as well as let me get TikTok pulled up again because I think I'm off there. There we go. Happy to be live on TikTok at the same time as YouTube. We figured it out somehow. Once again, to the viewers, if you hear any echo, if there's any type of audio trouble, just let us know. We're trying to figure it out. How to stream at the same exact time. But I'm happy to be here with you, bro. As we've discussed in the last couple weeks, we are getting closer and closer to the NBA playoffs. But we did just have some big news dropped on us with the NBA expansion. So I'm excited to get into that with you as well. We could talk a little bit about the history of expansion within the NBA and what it's looked like at other times. And just talk about, what the league may look like as we move forward. So,
yeah, it's been amazing for sure. I think it was long overdue to talk about potentially expanding everything. So, but like you said, we'll dive into that for sure. I had to
yes, sir.
retweet it right quick. I'm back.
Oh,
But
I was wondering.
yeah, I had to
All
retweet
good.
the link. So.
Got to get
Was
used to
good.
that.
Yeah. So, what you want to kick the show off with? Talking about the expansion.
Yeah, let's start there. That's the biggest news right now. We got Asia Wilson in the background on StreamYard and YouTube, repping Las Vegas for us. Hopefully that made sense. I threw her on there because it's Las Vegas. She's the big MVP there in Vegas right now when it comes to basketball. Then we got Durant down low with the Seattle Supersonics. But yeah, man, let's dive right in. Seattle and Las Vegas, bro. Where are we at? Where are you at with that?
Honestly, bro, I think it's a great move for the NBA as a whole. Just specifically Seattle. I mean, a lot of people have talked about over the past couple of years of just trying to bring a team back down that way. The last time they had a team was the Supersonics, and then that eventually became OKC Thunder. So, nonetheless, I think that those guys down there in Seattle getting a team back would do wonders for them. And it's a lot of players in NBA that's from down that way, and guys like Gary Payton II. He said he would love to go down there and play. I go on and on, but you get the memo. Then, as far as like Las Vegas, I mean, that kind of speaks for itself. I mean, it's a lot of money to be made down there. If they were to expand the league down that way, but I just think overall it's a great move for sure. I mean, I think it brings more opportunities for a lot of players in the NBA that's not able to showcase their true skills with teams that they currently own. A league expansion, opening up two more teams would potentially help in that department. So overall, bro, I just love it for sure. What about you?
No, I think it's I think you brought up a great point there to kind of end what you were saying. Just thinking about some of these players that are on the back of benches that just don't get the opportunity because there's just too many, players that might be better than them or better fits on their rosters than what they are. And I also think just like the influx of college talent that we see, like collegiate stars, but then for some reason that doesn't transition into the NBA. They get sent down to the G League multiple seasons, whatever the case may be. Well, now you'll get to see them. Maybe it's on a lesser team in the NBA, but they at least get that NBA experience and maybe don't have to be shifted down to the G League. gives G Leaguers more opportunity as well. I imagine they would play a big part in the league expanding. You would have to take a select amount from the G League maybe. And I think, I said this jokingly to you over text. Let's strip OKC of some damn players, bro, because them being like 15 players deep isn't making the league more fun. They're a pretty unfair team right now. I say that jokingly, but like for real, maybe three or four players from OKC get moved off of that team and onto an expansion team. But all that being said, man, I do think it's the right move. I think Seattle, when you think about it, Seattle, obviously you just saw the Seahawks win the Super Bowl. They have a pretty dedicated fan base. We saw it with the Supersonics as well back in the day. And then Las Vegas is just the sports betting capital of the world. It's, it's a lot of money fluctuating in there. So that makes sense as well. And it's entertainment central when it comes to the United States. So I think it overall makes a ton of sense. Looks like they're shooting for the 2028 season. 2028-29 seasons. So a little bit further down the line, obviously a bunch of details they have to get ironed out there, but it would make for 32 teams in the NBA, man. And we would be looking at 16 teams per conference, very similar, if not the exact same as the NFL. And maybe you expand the divisions a little bit, but you would I believe you mentioned it on the last show. It was rumored to be the Memphis Grizzlies that would transfer over to the East.
They said between Memphis or Minnesota would shift over to the East. So.
Which both of those are basically in the middle of the country. So yeah, I guess that makes sense as well. 7 to 10 billion range per franchise, to buy or own that said franchise. I'm curious what the names of the teams would be. I think for Seattle, just go back to Supersonics. That was a pretty cool name.
For sure. I don't see a reason not to.
I think that's the easy one. But Las Vegas, you have a lot of options for Las Vegas because there's a lot going on there. But I think it would be cool, bro. I was looking at some of the history of the league expanding. So the latest one, you had the 2004 expansion. It wasn't an expansion. It was just the New Orleans Hornets turning into the Charlotte Bobcats. So they moved back up to Charlotte. 1995, the league added 2 Canadian teams. So the Toronto Raptors and the Vancouver Grizzlies, which obviously Vancouver ended up moving to Memphis in looks like 2001. 1989, the Minnesota T-Wolves and the Orlando Magic were added to the league. 1988. So I guess those were back-to-back years. They added 2 teams each year, but 1988, Miami Heat and Charlotte Hornets were added to the NBA. So it's interesting. I bring up those teams just to shoot the fact out there that would you say that those teams were bad for the league? Did they make the league worse?
Yeah, I wouldn't say so.
Right? Most of those teams are pretty fun. I mean, the T-Wolves and Magic are in contention these days. I mean, I'd say they fared pretty well. I think this is going to be good for the league, getting into 2 new big cities. And like you said, man, just kind of splitting up that talent or spreading the talent around a little bit more evenly.
Sure. And then it wouldn't hurt to try neither. And I think that another way to look at it is it brings more job security in a sense. Yeah. Because it's 60 people essentially coming to the league every year trying to take the next person's job. So guys like veterans to be exact. I mean, we just seen the Grizzlies sign Taj Gibson. Yeah. Honestly, I don't really see a great reason to do that, but they did it. So my point is when you see guys, essentially around their age, getting up in age, pretty much on the back end of their career, you got young guys coming in trying to take their spot. They can go be a vet to a team like a potential Seattle Supersonics on the way back or Las Vegas, things like that. It's just, another perspective to look at it from.
No, I completely agree with that, man. You got a lot of free agents that a lot of vets that get left behind maybe a little too early in their career, to your point. And be interesting. Maybe we see Ben Simmons on one of the expansion teams.
Yeah, I know, man. You see guys like Isaiah Thomas is making a comeback. Jay Crowder, you know.
Hey, Jay Crowder, that's a good nod, man. He was another guy that just kind of got shifted out of the league.
Yeah, man.
Somehow.
Just there's no room for these older guys, man. You know.
Yeah, bring some of those guys over from the 3-on-3 tournaments or whatever they be doing, the big three. No, I'm just kidding. There's a lot of young talent out there as well coming out of college that will find some new homes, rightfully so as well, bro. But no, I'm ultimately excited for it, man. Two big cities, should be two great fan bases, and should make the league a little bit more entertaining. I know Adam Silver is trying things right now. He talked about the tanking situation, trying to shut that down and looking for ways to control that. You hear a lot about the 65 game rule for these NBA awards and, that type of stuff. So feels like a lot of change is coming to the NBA. They're trying to fix their product is what it is. Hoop heads like us, we love it.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, the NBA, they're trying to find their fan base and fix this product that they're putting out there. So I think any effort towards that is worth it, to your point. So, yeah, bro. Where do we want to go next, my man?
Did you want to do power rankings or?
Yeah, let's talk power rankings, bro. Let me actually get the slide.
Yeah, that's why I was asking. I didn't know you had
I got it. Give me one second.
The technical difficulties, man. We were trying to figure out.
Hey, we're trying new things, just like the NBA.
Somebody said on TikTok, less foul calls and stoppage of the game would bring better product. I agree. I absolutely agree with that. Especially like in the postseason, I feel like to a lesser extent you can let some things, get by. Yeah. I don't think it would hurt. At some point, it's okay to kind of go back in the day. They was more physical, more rough. It's okay to let guys play like that, especially in the postseason. So I won't have a problem with that. I agree.
No, that's a great point, bro. Because they crank up the physicality a notch as far as what they allow once you get to the postseason, which is why we do still enjoy postseason basketball in the NBA so much, and we look forward to it. It's because they're actually allowed to play basketball in the postseason. Just make it like that all season. Allow the physicality, allow defense in the NBA, and like the viewer said, I think we'll see a better product, man. But
got another comment over here. It says Spurs are 23-2 last 25 games and 31-9 since January the 1st and won 7 in a row. Yeah, man. This team. Me and you both agreed. The only thing, honestly, that I could see potentially preventing them from at least going to the finals would just be experience. Other than that, they check everything down the list. They got versatility, they got a star, they got depth, bucket getters, defenders, shooters. They have it all. So
yeah. They got a 6-man candidate as well, 6-man of the year in Keldon Johnson. Like they do. They got scoring punches off the bench. They got combo guard off the bench and Dylan Harper. They've got shooters on the court with Wemby. Like, yeah, I do agree. I think they're right there with OKC. I just think you give the nod to OKC because of experience. They just won the championship last year. They've been through the toughest battles in the postseason. They've seen it. And that is the only difference between OKC and San Antonio for me right now, man.
Yeah.
Who do you think is a deeper team? Who do you think, like when you look at their roster? I know we joke about OKC, but San Antonio has a pretty deep team.
They do. They really do. I say OKC though.
You got to, right?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say.
I started thinking about it. I was like, let me walk back.
Yeah, I gotta get into OKC, man.
AJ Mitchell, Jared McCain,
Jason Wallace, Isaiah Joe, Caruso, Dort,
off the bench.
Aaron Wiggins. Yeah. So.
Yeah, the list goes on. Yeah, OKC they haven't beat in depth and they haven't beat in experience, but Spurs are right there. Do you put the Spurs, just looking at these power rankings, right? Do you put the Spurs and the Thunder in their own like category, or is there any team below them, like the Knicks, like the Celtics, like the Lakers, that you see up there with them?
Honestly, respectfully, I got OKC in their own tier. They are
Fair.
the defending champs, so I wouldn't necessarily put any team in the same category with them. Just respecting San Antonio still got to prove that they can do it. Truthfully, though, I could put Boston in that conversation because they were the champs just a free season ago. So, yeah, I could probably say Boston of any other team because they done it at the highest level. San Antonio still got ways to go. New York, Lakers, Detroit, but I feel you on that for sure.
Yeah, no, that's a very fair way to put it. I like the way you did that. OKC by themselves, maybe throw the Celtics in there because, like you said, they've recently won the championship. We'll continue to see how Jason Tatum, continues to find his way back and fit in there with them. But it is interesting. I will talk about the Knicks a little bit here. They're on a 7-game win streak as well. They're 8-2, maybe making a little bit of ground before we get to the Eastern Conference playoffs, right? But how are you feeling about the New York Knicks? I see they kind of moved up on your list as well.
Yeah, like you said, they're killing a 7-game winning streak. We have less than 10 games left for the season.
Yeah.
So essentially, just like the Lakers, they really peaking at the perfect time. Like guys are just playing together, they fighting on all cylinders, thriving their roles. So that's why they moved up on my power rankings. I can see the camaraderie of the team. You just see things starting to click more, specifically like a car in the towns being more dominant, more aggressive, specifically like rebounding the ball, staying out of foul trouble, things of that nature.
Yeah.
So just little things like that ultimately translates to winning. So I had to show those guys some love for sure.
I think that's a great way to put it. They're just kind of rolling on all cylinders right now, and it's one of those things where you just hope you didn't hit that stride too early, right? You got
Yeah,
a little
yeah,
under 10 games left, but
yeah.
hopefully just stay healthy. They should make good ground before the postseason. Let me show some love to the Pistons. I put them back up in my top 10.
Yeah.
You guys got to me last week. You clowned me for not putting them in there. I was a little over dramatic with the Cade injury. I will admit that. They're still better than probably half the teams in the East just off their physicality and defense. So yeah, I had to move the Pistons back up the list here, right underneath of the Atlanta Hawks, who actually just beat the Pistons, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they did. They
Maybe
went to overtime, yeah.
last night, or maybe the night
Mhm.
before.
Yeah, it
Last
was
night,
last night. They went to overtime, yeah.
1-1. Yeah, some great games last night, bro. I was watching the Sixers score 150 plus on the Bulls, but there was some tight contests around the league last night. Good
Yeah.
basketball.
It was some hoops last night. Like I said, we talked about Houston and Minnesota off the book, but man, what a game that was
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. When you look at Minnesota, Minnesota still makes our top 10, even with Ant out right now. He should be reevaluated soon, and we'll see what the timetable is looking like for him to return. But they're keeping afloat without Ant. They're kind of still finding ways to win, find a way to beat the Houston Rockets last night, to your point, who fell out of my top 10 power rankings. I'm kind of over the Rockets at this point. We talked a little bit about that before
Yeah,
the show, but
I agree.
I think I'm kind of over it. Tell the show what you said to me earlier about the Rockets, what you think the issue is, because I do agree with you. I think that has to be one of the baseline issues for the Rockets and their lack of success compared to expectations.
Yeah, I mean, I think you can kind of compare these guys in a sense, like with you being a Sixers fan, you had the experience with Ben Simmons, one of the more athletic guys on your guys' team, and probably your best defender during that run.
Yeah.
And so when you look at Houston, right, Amen Thompson, one of the better athletes in this league today, but specifically the best athlete for the Rockets and best defender. But the problem is, man, offensively, he really doesn't provide that spacing. And me, you talked about this last week. There was a lot of Houston Rocket fans on X, formerly known as Twitter, discussing did they make the right trade by trading Jalen Green instead of Thompson? Due to specifically not man Thompson not being able to shoot the ball efficiently. Like he'll shoot it, but he's shooting less than 30% from 3-point range. And honestly, that's a problem. We've been completely honest here come postseason. You go see they gonna give him the Ben Simmons treatment. They just going to sag off for him and just live with him shooting. So
Yeah.
um but it's hard though, bro, because you can't take him off the court because he's your best defender.
It's
He
too
gets
good at it.
downhill. He's just essentially too good, but it's hard when you really playing 4-on-5 offensively. That makes sense. So yeah, that's what we discussing. Also, we was saying like Fred VanVleet, Steven Adams, those guys being out definitely sucks too. So yeah.
No, I agree with that take. I'm not going to say that they should have traded Amin Thompson instead of
Yeah, I
you know,
agree. I ain't gonna say.
I'm not going to go that far. I'm not with those Houston fans, but I do get it. Like something's got to give with Amin Thompson and the shooting ability or lack thereof, and he's got to figure that out. It's not going to be this season, which is why, for my money, I'm looking right now to see who the Rockets could play in the playoffs. They just feel like a first round exit to me, man. They really feel like a first round exit.
They have guys that can defend and shoot. Tari Eason not a bad 3-point shooter. His percentage drop. He can shoot. He can defend. You got Dorian Finney-Smith. He can defend and shoot.
Defend. Yeah.
Jason Tate, not necessarily a great 3-point shooter, but
yeah,
he can probably hit a free. Probably more than Amen, I'd say for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I'm curious. Have you watched some Rockets game? I did not see the beginning of the game last night. I saw towards like the end of the first, going into halftime. Have they made any adjustments to the starting lineup?
Well, to start the Euro, they had that gigantic lineup of
with Steven Adams.
Yeah, they had KD at the 2 essentially. Amen, KD, Jabbar, Şengün, and Adams. But as time progressed, they had pivoted away from that. But honestly, no, it's been the same. Reed Shepherd, Amen, KD, Jabbar, and Şengün. So that's been pretty much the starting lineup for the past pretty much all season, honestly. So
Gotcha. I was just curious because I'm trying to think of like different things they can do. Because I remember at the beginning of the season, the talk was like, should they bench Amin for Reed? You got both of them starting, so you would think that it like spaces the floor with the other shooters.
That's what I was about to say, bro. Like you can really cover up a man not being able to shoot if you just put the right pieces around him. Like
right.
But the thing is, specifically at the 5, unless you were to go small and put Jabbar at the 5, I think that would help because Şengün not necessarily just a 40% 3-point shooter, but he can knock it down though. But he's shooting under 30% from 3-point range as well. So I think it just comes down to just what you put around a man that can work. And they have guys that's capable of doing that. Like you can go small, Jabbar at the 5, maybe Dorian, get some minutes. That's the good thing about a playoff series. You can always make adjustments, bro. So
I do like that small ball nod. I think that's something they should try. Jabari, maybe I hate to say it's got to be against the right team, right? Like KD and Jabari, like playing like power forward and center sound. It could be crazy, but they got to try some different things this postseason because I just don't like the way things are looking. To your point, man, I'm looking at the numbers now. Amin Thompson shoots 22% from the 3-point line. And Şengün shoots 27, close to 28% from the 3-point line. That's your issue. Yeah, that's the issue. Offensively, right? That's the issue offensively.
Yeah, defensively, they're amazing.
Yeah, they're great defensively. And they are the 6th seed right now. So they would run into the Lakers.
The Lakers
first round.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure D-Rab will love that. But speaking of the Lakers, man, we discussed about New York. You start to wonder, are they peaking too early? And it's ironic you say that because I was thinking in my head the same thing with the Lakers, man. Like they're currently on a 9-game winning streak. And wait, or did they lose that streak? I think they lost that streak.
They lost the other night.
Yeah, okay.
I can't remember who they lost to.
Okay, but anyway, you get the memo.
They're 9-1 in their last 10, nonetheless.
Yeah, like they've been rolling the past couple of plus weeks. I mean, Luka has been going insane. Like he's been putting his name in the MVP conversation. Yeah. So when you think about the performance that they've been putting on, you start to wonder, have they been peaking too early as a team? As postseason is like less than 3 weeks away. Yeah. Can this level of play sustain all the way to the postseason is the real question. So
yeah, no, I think that's a great point. And when I saw that the Lakers would be the Houston's like competition, I thought, well, if Houston is good defensively, you devise a plan to basically, I don't know if it's possible to like get the ball out of Luka's hands. Like, I don't know how you defend Luka Doncic, like, to be clear, but if anybody has the tools, it would be the Rockets, right? With the length, the wing defenders that they have, I would think, but it's an interesting match. I do ultimately agree with you. I think the Lakers, they're playing some really good basketball right now. Even the role players. We talked about Rui Hachimura on the last show. We talked about Marcus Smart on the last show, what he's been able to do, specifically for guys like DeAndre Ayton as well, kind of protecting him, keeping him in line. They're an interesting team. I worry about the Luka workload, especially if LeBron is any type of hampered, injured, weaker, anything going into the postseason where he could potentially miss a game or two. That's where I worry about the Lakers and that workload, that massive workload that they put on Luka Doncic. It's the same thing that he had in Dallas. You know what I mean? Like, it's just this, like, always give the ball to Luka, score 30, 35 a night, and, grab 10 rebounds, grab 10 assists, and do everything for our team. I did not see it playing that way with LeBron, but I guess later in his career, he ends up in a similar situation as Dallas. But no, I think the Lakers are interesting, man. They're interesting going to the postseason. I'm not as high as them. Like, I have them high in my power rankings right now. They're playing good basketball, but I don't love them as a playoff contender, to be clear. Are they a contender? Yes. But do I love them as a contender? No.
That's fair.
That's the best way I can put it.
Yeah. See, they got to show us. But as we look down at other teams, man, look at the Celtics for a minute, man. I think that they have a real shot at coming out the East, man, for real. Like, when you look at what they was able to do before Tatum has got back and what they're still able to do right now, it kind of speaks volume to how great this team is assembled. The only question that I have for them is, like, we know they went out there and traded for Vucevic, but he's been injured. And so if he's not going to be ready to go come postseason, that's going to be a problem because you're going to need a stretch big. You seen what happened when they won a chip a few years ago. They had a guy like Porzingis, a center that can stretch the floor and, do things like that. So without him, they really don't have that. Cater is more so like a lob threat, inside type of big. So hopefully if Vucevic come back sooner than later. But nonetheless, I love this team, and they've been balling for sure.
Yeah, I think you were spot on with the first thing you said there, and it's the road for them coming out of the East, right? Detroit was that 50-win team other than Boston in the Eastern Conference, and I know Boston hasn't gotten there yet, but they'll get to 50 wins, obviously. The Knicks will too. Like, I'm not saying it like that. You know what I mean when I'm talking like that. Detroit appeared to be that team that could maybe match up. You have Cade Cunningham, the MVP candidate. You have that big maybe he is a second option. Maybe he can be a number one, Slim. I don't know. He's been putting up numbers. And I'm talking about Jalen Jones. And now you just don't know when Cade Cunningham's going to come back. And so it does. It dampers down the Detroit Piston hype. Then it comes down to, do you believe in the Knicks being able to consistently compete at a high level with a team like the Boston Celtics? And it's one of those things I would have to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's impossible, but yeah, I would have to see it play out. I'm not going to pick the Knicks over the Boston Celtics. And let me ask you this. What if Tatum wasn't back, would you feel this way about the Celtics, you think? Because I was starting to feel that way even before he came back, though.
Yeah, I wouldn't go too far to say, like, contending for a title. But I don't know, bro. It's kind of hard. I think if they were to make it all the way to the finals without Tatum, that just speaks to how weak the East is, honestly, because it's just too many good teams. Atlanta, Toronto, Cleveland, like all these other teams, New York, that should have made it to the finals. If Boston were to make it, that just speaks to how trash they really are.
So, yeah, to your point, because the Cavs, Boston without Tatum should not beat the Cavs on paper. if the
Yeah,
Cavs are
on
healthy.
paper for sure. Even New York, they should not beat
Yeah.
them. Even Toronto, in my humble opinion, they just got too many weapons over there, bro.
Yeah,
So
they're a versatile team. I feel you. But I think that is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from the Eastern Conference, to be transparent. The Atlanta Hawks are playing some good basketball right now. We talked about this last week, though. Are they ready to contend? Like, maybe they can pull a Pacers, like, and get to the Eastern Conference Finals, and maybe even the final. Like, maybe they can, but that would just be that would really surprise me if the Hawks could come out of the East somehow. I go over to the Cavs. Maybe we discussed like that James Harden factor come postseason as well. Jared Allen's beat up right now. They're playing inconsistent basketball. What the Magic? They're just up and down. Who am I missing? The Sixers. They just got Embiid and Paul George back. We'll talk about that a little bit towards the end of the show. But do I really trust Embiid and Paul George to like stay healthy? Both of them? Like, I don't. So, like, I look at the East, and Detroit was that one team that is kind of just like young. I don't want to say like unproven, because they made the playoffs last year. That was like their first taste of it in a while. But they seemed like they were the team that was ready to take that next step. And then you lose your MVP candidate, and it kind of derails. It hasn't derailed it. I use that term lightly here, but just from the contender perspective.
Yeah, I agree. But I mean, essentially, both of our lists are the same. We just got it in different orders.
Teams.
Yeah, just different orders. So, yeah, man, getting closer and closer to the postseason, bro.
One thing about the Nuggets, I'm not nothing about their positioning on the board or anything, but Jokic with like the 20 plus points, 17 assists, 17 rebounds I saw last night.
Yeah, 19 assists. I seen that, bro.
19 assists, so it went up. Maybe I saw that earlier in the night. Either way, but approaching like a 20-20-20 triple-double type of shit. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, and then Jamal Murray had like 53 last night. So
yeah, I saw that too. Jamal Murray, he's already in playoff mode. So
yeah, one of those ones for sure, bro. Denver to me, bro. I would never overlook that team, despite them having injuries. You just can't count them out. They have their championship pedigree. Their roster is built to contend, so you just can't overlook them.
Denver or Spurs? Playoffs, not right now, just playoffs, thinking about experience, all of that.
I'm gonna go with Denver. Experience that. Well, you said no experience, none of that.
No, I'm saying factor all of that in. We're not thinking about regular season. We're thinking about playoffs experience.
Yeah, that definitely matters for sure. I can't overlook that. That definitely plays a part for sure.
I feel that, brother. Real quick, man. I honestly just wanted to get your thoughts on the Sixers and Paul George and Embiid returning last night. Like, I just want to get your perspective on the Eastern Conference and those guys coming back for the Sixers along with VJ, so that I can kind of base myself and not get ahead of myself based on what I saw them do against the Chicago Bulls, to be fair.
Yeah, I seen PG had like what, 25, something like that.
I think he had 28. He finished with I have it written down here. 28, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. He was 6 for 13 from the 3-point line.
Damn, that's crazy, because when you hit me up out there, I had looked at the box score. I was like, damn, Paul George kind of struggling. And then when you sent the other text about it, they was going crazy. I looked at it again. He had like over 25. I was like, damn, that's tough. But I think it's good though, bro. We were just chopping it up about, when Paul George got suspended for those 25 games, he came out and admitted like it was a form of depression.
Yeah.
Basically becoming a shell of your former self. The knee injuries, the internet trolling you, things of that nature. It gets to your head if you allows it to do that. But glad to see Playoff P back out there. No, Podcast P, not Playoff P. Podcast P back out there, my bad, bro. Podcast P back out there. Even Joel, man, like, for the most part, he's been doing this thing all year. So to see him back out there, and it's amazing. Like to see. Sucks Tyrese Maxey is out. But to see those guys out there doing that thing is great to see for sure. So
yeah. To your point on Paul George, they're calling him Percocet P.
this dude, man, it's funny, bro. Percocet P, bro. Honestly, bro, like they was making this analogy that Paul George really took the blame for Joel Embiid, if that makes sense. Like Joel Embiid pissed in a cup and Paul George just took the fault for it or some shit they was saying.
Hey,
because
I
of
will
how
say
crazy
this, bro.
Joel Embiid was playing, bro.
I will say this, bro. Like, for Joel to return on the same night that Paul George returns from his 20, Joel was out due to injury to his oblique or whatever they want to call that. Paul George was out due to a 25-game PED suspension, right? And so why is it just so ironic? They've both been out for weeks, maybe even a month. They both come back the same night against the Chicago Bulls. Joel's healed up fully, right? Ready to go when PG gets back from injury. That was a little weird to me. It just seemed like maybe they were preserving Embiid for the playoffs, trying to, not get his usage up during the regular season. I don't know. They're a weird squad. I'm just trying to temper my own expectations, man. I was just in the dumps probably a week ago about this team. See them two back. They score over 150 points last night. I think it's easy for me to just get right back on the train and be like, the Sixers, watch out in the playoffs. We're still in the damn play-in tournament
right now. Yeah, I agree, bro. It's the same thing with the Warriors, bro. Like,
it's tough, bro.
We're in the same predicament, goddamn. Both y'all the 10th seed, right? Or the 9th seed?
Well, right now we moved up to the 7th seed. I think we've won. We won. Oh, we must have lost one. Oh, yeah, we played OKC. I think we're 3-1 in our last 4 with the loss to OKC.
We're the 10th seed right now, so.
It's
crazy to say, like, bro, if we were to lose every game for the rest of the year, we would still be in the play-in tournament, bro. Like, this shit is ridiculous, bro. Like,
that is crazy, bro. That is crazy because I think our 10 seed right now in the East is the Orlando Magic, but same thing though. I look down at the Bucks; they're 29-43. The Magic are 38-34. So there's only 9 games left, at least for the Sixers. 9 games left.
Yeah,
but
it's like under 10 games left for pretty much every team. But I'm glad you brought that up. The Bucks, man. What you think about Cam Thomas getting waived, man? We never talked about that.
Yeah, you texted me that. That kind of like it flew over my head when you texted that, but that has to speak to like his personality, right? Like it has to. Like that has to be like some. I'm just thinking of the way he plays basketball versus like the type of mindset it takes to play that style of basketball, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Like he's a bucket. That's what he do. He gets buckets. Like
It's
that's
buckets,
pretty much
right?
been his calling card since his LSU days. When he was in college, like he just get buckets. That's it. He doesn't really defend. He doesn't play make, do none of that. So honestly, bro, like it's sad because shit, bro. I only been in the league 5 years now, and getting waived twice in less than 3 months is crazy.
Yeah, it's a great point, man. Because for the Nets to waive your it is wild. Because I'm sitting there thinking, like, yeah, maybe he just plays like a losing style of basketball. He's still talented, but he just plays a losing style. But if that was the case, he would still find a place on the Brooklyn Nets, right? But maybe he wanted out of there. Who knows? He's going to have to make a mindset change. That's what it's going to take. He's going to have to kind of he's going to have to get rid of that ego. He's going to have to level set. Come back down to earth a little bit. I get it. He's talented. He got to shoot whatever he wanted the last couple of seasons in Brooklyn, so he probably got used to that. But I look at Milwaukee. They do have a little bit of like overlap in that position, specifically like the guard position. Like, to be fair, I'm not taking like playing time from Ryan Rollins for Cam Thomas, right?
Yeah, but same with KPJ or even AJ Green.
Yeah.
AJ Green. So I could agree with that. It's just kind of weird. You sign him essentially to get buckets, I would think so. Nothing more.
What else?
And like you could kind of see the way it was heading Like every game, his minutes was just going down and down. Like
Yeah.
he went crazy against Orlando a month ago, and it's like ever since then the shit been just going down. So I don't know, bro. But wishing Cam Thomas the best, bro. We'll see if he finds another gig in the NBA. But I
Do you
don't know.
think any contender would take a shot on him, man? Like a scoring punch off the bench?
Man, a team like Detroit could use another scorer though. Yeah. And then also it would be
Not a
good
bad
because
idea, yo.
it would be good because they can cover up for him defensively
Yeah,
because they have some good defenders over there. So
that's a great point. I do like that. I like that. That's a good idea. They should get a little desperate, try to make some type of run, and hope that Cade comes back right during the postseason at some point. Um, but yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see how the Eastern Conference shaped out. We'll see what shapes out for Cam Thomas. To get us out of here, man, player awards. I know you sent me something from Wemby.
yeah, we
Before
gotta
the show
talk about
started.
that.
I got
Bro.
to read it, but if you want to share that with
Yeah, so
the
basically Wemby pretty much putting his name out there to be in the MVP talks, and rightfully so. Like obviously when you think of somebody like Wemby, you just kind of think about defense, which is cool, but that's only 50% of the game. That's what he was saying. You know, you still got another 50% of the game being played on the other side, which is offensively. And to be fair, Wemby on his average of 24 points per game, shooting 35% from 3-point range, 50% from the field, 81% from the free throw line. He's giving you like 11 rebounds, 3 assists, one and a half steals, and 3.1 blocks. So when you put all that together, man, I mean, he definitely makes a case to be in the MVP talks. I mean, they are the second seed in the lower Western Conference, so you can't just overlook that. Like he's a huge part to do with that on
yeah,
both sides. So I would have to agree with him, man. Like you could put him in that conversation for sure. Let alone just the conversation. Not saying he should be the favorite to win it,
yeah,
but when you think about that, everything that plays a part in winning MVP, team record,
yeah.
individual stats, season accolades, like he checks everything. So yeah.
No, I do agree with you. It's the same reason I was looking at Jaylen Brown earlier on in this season. Same reason Cade Cunningham was like one of the favorites going throughout his big stretch of the season before the injury. These guys play both sides of the ball. They
Yeah.
dominate offensively and they guard the best players on the other side of the ball. And that's the same thing for Victor Wembanyama. Maybe not guarding the best players just because the best players are big men mostly across the league anymore, but just holding down the paint, being that defensive anchor for his team, and should be a runaway with the Defensive Player of the Year. But if he's a runaway with the Defensive Player of the Year, and then you look at his offensive numbers, why wouldn't he be the MVP? I get that SGA is still in the combo, and from what I was seeing earlier when I was looking on DraftKings at odds, SGA is like I don't want to say runaway, but it was like minus 900. It was a good, not worth you placing a wager, right? They think that SGA is going to win the MVP this season, and I get it. It's OKC. They're dominating. He's the best player on that team. He's having another great season. Do not get me wrong. But I just like, why SGA over Wemby? Like, what is the argument? I guess I don't know what it would be. The points.
That's a great point though, because even if you were to like throw Wemby out of the defensive player of the year conversation, I think that helps his case more to win MVP. The
Right.
things he did defensively, because it all
Right.
plays a part, you know. They about what and what in terms of like games being played this year. So SGA probably got just a tad bit more, I'd say.
A tad, yeah.
Yeah, not a ton though, because he had that abdominal injury. He missed some time. So yeah.
I'm just checking right now just to see. So we got, where's SGA? Oh, 61 games played for SGA. Wembanyama 58. So 3 games difference. 3 games difference.
It's so crazy though, man.
Averages 30.
Notice how we talked about Wemby, SGA, Jaylen Brown, Cade Cunningham. But it's just so hard, so freaking hard to just overlook the shit Jokic does as a center
Oh,
on a night-to-night basis. Like, look what he did last night. This is a center 20, 20, and almost 20. That is
yeah.
insane. Like, a center,
He's
bro.
played the same amount of games as Wemby. He's played 58 games.
Yeah.
So I thought you were gonna say Luka Doncic. Because same thing, like he puts up just ridiculous.
Me for like, yeah, Luka, like what he's been doing the month of March is crazy. Like he just had last night, then he dropped like 45 or something. He's been going on a tear, bro. So
he dropped like 100 points in like 2 games.
Yeah, 2 games. Yeah, like this is gonna be hard, bro. Because I always had this with Luka. I just felt like he was always due for one, in a sense, you know.
Yeah, has he not won an MVP before?
No, he has not.
That is crazy.
He has not.
That's
so at
crazy.
some point, you would think that they would give it to him. Because Jokic is like what, 3-time MVP, SGA 1. Wemby is still young. He'll get a free for sure.
Yeah, he should get one. He should.
Even I think K to get one, but Jaylen Brown, you know, I don't know, bro. It's a lot for sure.
Month of March, Luke is averaging 37 points per game. 36.9 points per game. 43, 32, 33, 60, 40, 36, 30, 51, 31, 35, 44, 27, 27, 28. Those are his point totals.
And the interesting part about that is that they've been winning.
They have been winning as well.
Because it's
surging up the West charts.
It's like if a person would have dropped those numbers and it's not translating to winning, then you really shouldn't pay.
It's a little different.
Yeah,
that's kind of like what Paolo's doing in Orlando right now. Not to the Luka level, but he's putting up, I don't want to say empty numbers. He's putting up great stats, but they're not winning a ton of games the last 2 weeks as far as Orlando Magic goes. So I know there was some talk like, is that the best way for the Magic to play? You know, running everything through Paolo if they're not winning basketball games. But no, I think it's interesting. Yeah, Luka, Wemby. There's a lot of options, honestly, for MVP. It's weird. And if Cade, you know, didn't have that game mark, which I know some Pistons fans, some fans in general are just begging for that rule to be like an exception to be made.
That Joel Embiid rule, huh?
That Joel Embiid rule.
No better way to look at it, bro. We know what's going on.
Yeah, I try to take that lens off. It's hard as a Sixers fan to take that lens off and like feel sympathy for Cade. No. Let me take that back. It's not lack of sympathy for Cade.
I was going to say, bro, you cold-blooded, bro. You cold-blooded.
Nah, it's not Cade's fault. I feel for Cade. Like I feel for his injury. I feel for him returning, and I want that for the Pistons. I feel for them. It's just the player awards, like. I get it. They do mean something. There's going to be plenty of time for Cade to go after those awards. He doesn't need like an exception, like a token gift to give into him. Like he doesn't need that. He's a great player. He'll figure it out. He'll get it done. What about Rookie of the Year, yo?
Yeah, man. I think it comes down to Khan and Coop, bro.
Do you think Khan is overtaking Coop, though? He has by the odds. That's why I asked that.
Yeah, man. I think so, bro. But truthfully, I think Cooper Flag will probably ultimately end up winning it because some nights, bro, offensively, he just ain't doing it. But defensively, he go crazy, bro.
He does.
Like, you talking about 5 blocks, couple steals, just the little intangibles that he do. And that's amazing. This guy was the #1 overall draft pick. You don't really come across a lot of guys that's drafted that high and come in and play defense. So he gets it done on both ends. Khan not really known for his defense, but I sent you that reel the other day, last week, when he was just going like his movement off the ball. He plays like a vet, you know. So it's gonna come down between those two for sure. If I had to pick initially, I would say Coop, but Khan grew on me, bro, because he wasn't able to do this at Duke. Now he comes to the NBA and just showcases his true skills. It just says a lot about him. So I think Khan should get it, bro.
Yeah.
Truthfully, because I think
Khan
team
didn't get
record
that
plays a part.
opportunity at Duke, like you said, man, to have the ball in his hands. And it's not even that he needs it, because you sent me, he didn't even dribble, and he's scoring off of the clip that you showed me, which was like 7 minutes long of him just
7
scoring
freaking minutes.
without dribbling. So he
Really
is
play.
he's Mr. Fundamental to a T. That's why I love him as a player. And while I was kind of banging the table for the Sixers, I'm not going to say I want him over VJ. It's not like that. I think they're both off to great starts. I do think Khan has been like better than VJ in his rookie year, but VJ has time to grow. But yeah, I think you look at Khan, just such like a mature game. 19 points per game, 5 assists per game, 3 or 4 rebounds a game. He's shooting 49% from the field, 44%. I'm rounding up, 44% from the 3-point line, and 87% from the free throw line. He's got the Hornets in the play-in, at least. Now, Brandon Miller, LaMelo. He's got some guys with him, of course.
Yeah.
I did want to look at Cooper Flag's numbers real quick, just to see.
I think for sure he averaging a block and a steal, I want to say.
20 points per game, close to 7 rebounds per game, close to 5 assists per game, a steal per game, and 0.9 blocks, basically a block per game. And that's on 47, 28, and 81% from the free throw line. So it's close. It's close as hell, quite honestly.
Yeah, it is.
I think I lean Khan. And it's not fair to Coop because he's in the Western Conference, but I think I lean Khan just because the excitement he's kind of created in Charlotte. Like, I know it's not all him, but it happens the year he's drafted number 4 in the draft. I think it was 4 or 5. Yeah, I think I would give it to Khan, but it's close. This draft class was great, and apparently this one coming up is going to be spectacular.
Yeah, well. They say this is the most loaded draft class since 03.
Have you seen? Are you talking about last year's or this?
No, this upcoming.
Yeah, because have you seen Acuff from Arkansas, bro? He's a bucket. Is it AJ? I always get his last name wrong. Dibben. Oh my God, I've heard it so many times. I don't know why I can't say it.
Yeah, I know you're talking about AJ. It's only one, right?
That's all you gotta say.
Yeah, AJ.
He's a monster. My boy Cam, obviously from Duke.
Darren Peterson, my guy.
Yeah, bucket. He's another guy. Him and Acuff guard buckets, like certified buckets. Like I've enjoyed them throughout the tournament. Well, Kansas went home early, but
yeah, unfortunately, the game
I
went.
ain't throwing no shade though, bro. Duke almost went home. So, but man, you got anything else before we get out of here, man? I feel really good. I apologize. I haven't been able to like look down at the TikTok stream, but I look down every once in a while, see a few comments here and there. We're trying new things here.
Yeah, we're trying new things, man. I think every year just bring different perspectives on shit, and we really not fucking with X like that. Just be honest, bro.
Like, hey, way to be clear about how you feel, bro.
Yeah, for real, it's temporary for now. We rocking with it, but
yeah,
no, man. That's pretty much it, bro. Like, Wemby more like gonna win Defensive Player of the Year. You would say, right?
Yeah, I think that one is.
Okay.
I think he's got that.
But I say this though, bro. You want to know somebody I think that should get some recognition for that award?
Talk to me.
Scotty Barnes. I think that when you look at his versatility defensively, he can guard 1 through 5 and is elite with it. So, I think he should get some credit for that. He just had I think last week he had like a game-winning block on Jalen Green. That shit was crazy, bro. So, yeah, I know you feel.
I just wanted, while you were saying that, I wanted to look up his odds for Defensive Player of the Year. It looks like as of late March, he is plus 5,000 to plus 10,000. So, like, not really a chance. But that doesn't make sense.
No, it don't. He should literally be the second. He should be like the second strongest under Wemby. because I don't
Yeah.
know nobody else above him.
It is weird, yo. It's weird how defense has gotten like pigeonholed just for like anchor big men in a sense. And I'm not throwing shade at Wemby. He's an alien. It's a different class. But the Rudy Gobert years of like recycling defensive player of the year. Who's the other one? Evan Mobley. I think he was defensive player of the year last year. Or am I tripping?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Evan Mobley. Once again, not throwing shade at Evan Mobley. He's a great defender. I think he would be in that conversation this year as well. But it's funny how not 3 and D, but wing defenders kind of get overlooked in a sense when they are arguably the most important.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy though, bro? Like somebody like Scottie Pippen didn't even win Defensive Player of the Year in his career. We all know how great defensively he was. So,
Like
you
how?
know, yeah.
Who are the defensive players? I want to see who the most like balanced defensive player of the year was in like the last 20 years.
You say most balanced, like including being versatile, things like that.
Like balance, like still good at offense, or maybe not a big man, for example. It says here in the NBA, Rudy Gobert, Dwight Howard, Ben Wallace have dominated with multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards over the past 20 seasons, with Gobert winning 4. Other recent winners include Marcus Smart. That's an obvious outlier, right? Guard. Giannis, obviously great offensively. Kawhi Leonard, and then Draymond Green are some other guys mentioned there. It doesn't give me like the list of guys, but
yeah, I mean, I know Kevin Garnett won it. Tim Duncan, to your point, Dwight Howard, Ron Artest won it back in the day. So, yeah, Evan Mobley last year, he pretty good offensively. So,
yeah. Jaren Jackson Jr. two or 3 years ago.
that's so fake. That's so damn fake, bro.
Joakim Noah got one in 2013 with the Bulls.
Didn't Marcus Gasol win one?
Yep, he won the year before that with the Grizzlies. Before that, it was Tyson Chandler with the New York Knicks.
Yeah. Tyson
Dwight Howard won it 3 years in a row from 2008 to 2010. Yeah. Then you got guys like Ben Wallace, even Dikembe Mutombo back in 2000. I think that was with the Sixers. Yeah, Kawhi won it back-to-back years with San Antonio. I completely forget that, but he was like that. To be fair, I'm not dissing it.
Heck yeah, he was like that.
No, I bring all of that up just to make your point, though. Scotty Barnes, he definitely deserves a nod towards Defensive Player of the Year this year. I think Wemby, you give it to Wemby just because he hasn't won it yet, but hopefully Scotty Barnes enters that combo in the next couple of years.
Yeah, for sure. But as we get up out of here, man, appreciate everybody tapped in on TikTok. It's pretty much our first time going live on here. So if you new here, follow the page, and then also follow us on YouTube at To The Galaxy 3. That's all you gotta type in. You can follow our YouTube channel, and then follow us on X, To The Galaxy Pod. We go live on there too. I would probably recommend it just for now because you can get the full feature of everything. Like we post our power rankings, you can probably get a better visual of everything, honestly, opposed to me and Scott just looking at you guys through the camera like this, So yeah, but appreciate everybody tapped in, all the newcomers, and shout out D-Rab. But yeah, man, you got anything else you want to say?
Nah, just appreciate you always leading the way for us, Slim. I love the idea of getting on TikTok. I think that's where we got to grow our community moving forward. We're going to continue to try to make tweaks to how we stream, find a platform where we can stream on YouTube and TikTok at the same time with no issues. That's the end goal. So we're going to figure it out, but just keep working with us, keep following us, keep subscribing. and we'll keep bringing the content, my man. But
Yes, sir.
appreciate all of it.
That being said, we out. Peace.
Peace.